Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is a weekly reading for the Divine Feminine for the week of October 4th through October 11th. So we will just jump right in. So you guys' weekly lesson, we have the Five of Swords. So this is asking, what did you get tricked out of? You know, what did you lose? Because as you see, the person is right there crawling, and the other guy is standing in victory with his swords in his hand. What did you guys lose out on? Because there's something. Yeah. What did you get bamboozled out of, I guess? That's the word they want me to use. But yeah. What did you get tricked out of? What did you think was supposed to be something that didn't end up being that, basically? So the obstacles with this lesson, we have the Five of Wands, and then we have the Queen of Wands. And literally off of these two cards, I felt so much anger and rage, like because like I said, I write down my readings and then come over to explain them. But that's kind of like how I channel as I'm doing it for time purposes. And yeah. But yeah, as I was writing everything, I felt the rage boiling up in me. This Five of Wands energy, this Queen of Wands, just this anger, hatred, rage, and just this constant fighting for something. You've been fighting and fighting and fighting, and this is why this Five of Swords hurts so bad, because you've been fighting for whatever this is. And now you're realizing your power. You are the Queen of Wands, and you're stepping into that, and you're like, I'm not taking this shit anymore. I'm not losing anymore. I'm not fighting for shit that I keep losing at. I'm not going to enter a battle if I know I'm going to lose. I am the Queen of Wands, and any battle afterwards, I will fucking win. I demand that I win. I will conquer. And I just felt it like boiling up, like my ears were getting hot and shit. So I feel it. Like I literally feel the anger of fighting for something, fighting so hard for something, and still feeling like you lost in the end. Because once again, a man lost. He lost a bet, he lost his battle, he lost his swords, because in the original deck, the other two guys are walking off without their swords, and one basically has them all to himself. So you lost in a certain scenario in life. You know, that might have been, maybe you lost a job, maybe you lost assets, like financial assets, maybe you lost a sense of yourself, a part of yourself. You felt belittled and beneath in a situation, or somebody made you feel like that. But yeah, now you're remembering who you are. And this is an obstacle because of the anger behind it. That's really what's so challenging. It's like you lost with the Five of Wands, and now you are pissed. You fought for it and you are pissed. But now you're the Queen of Wands, and remember your power. So how to face this challenge, we have the High Priestess. And then we have the Nine of Swords in reverse. So what I was hearing from these cards is showing love to your shadow self. So this anger, this rage, this powerlessness, this kind of energy of feeling belittled, those are all aspects of our shadow self. This is the side of us that we don't want to admit exists. This is the side that we keep tucked away. We keep hidden because we don't want anybody to judge us. We don't want to let them hear us roar in anger, you know, things in that nature. So the High Priestess is asking that you alchemize this relationship with your shadow self. Because it's easy to beat yourself up. And this is what the Nine of Swords in reverse is telling us, is somebody beating themselves up. Because if we look above, all those swords are falling on top of her head. So it's literally her thinking the worst of herself. So for instance, if you're angry, right? Or if you're embarrassed or whatever have you, you might be like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Brush it off. Oh, stop tripping. You're just crazy. Oh, you know, whatever. I'll get over it. Or okay, whatever. They'll forget about it. Like, You know, oh, don't be so overly emotional. All of those kind of things is a disservice to your shadow self, because your shadow self just wants to be heard and acknowledged. She wants to scream. She wants to punch shit. She wants to fucking yell and cry and break glass and just have her own little rampage, right? Because that's all within us. That's within every single person. It's just this pent up energy that doesn't get to be released in a positive outlet, or there's not a knowledge of how to positively release this energy. And trust me, I've struggled with this for a very long time. So it's gotten better, but it still needs tweaking here and there sometimes too. So it's really asking you to embrace that part of yourself, embrace the hidden parts of yourself that you don't want to admit to yourself, because that's who you are too. Just because it's stuff that you're ashamed of doesn't mean that it's still not there. You shaming that part of yourself doesn't mean it's going to go away. Instead, give it a voice, give it an outlet. It wants to be heard. It wants to speak up. So with the outcome, we have the One of Wands. I don't know why. Oh, it's Romy. Oh, no. What? Never mind. Ace of Wands. Never mind. So Ace of Wands, Three of Chalices, and then, holy shit, Knave of Chalices. Chalices. See, now I feel really light and silly, because now I even feel like the energy is just kind of clearing up from that. It's just acknowledging that it's there, giving it a voice. And now even just with this outcome, it just feels lighter already. So with the Ace of Wands, it's really the energy of, I can take this energy and create something with it. Instead of suppressing it and letting it sit, deep down within me, I can give it a voice. I can allow it to be expressed. And I was hearing very strongly to dance, just getting up and move. And I was literally seeing a vision of like, almost like tribal dancing. Like it was very kind of like aggressive dancing. But that's the type of dancing that can help you get out that anger. And instead of using that anger for negative things, using it for something positive, giving it a positive outlet, you can create a safe container to release this anger, hate, rage, embarrassment, guilt, shame, whatever this emotion is. You can give it a safe container and a safe space to be expressed in a positive form of creation. Yeah. So the Three of Chalices, this is really where I was feeling the dance too, not only because of the Ace of Wands, creating something, creating movement, but also this, I was getting a very strong dance, celebration. Celebrate it. Celebrate that anger. Celebrate that guilt. Celebrate that shame in a way that honors you. If you have roommates or whatever, close the door and just get crazy in your room. Paint, draw, whatever. Dance your heart out. Cry. Punch a pillow. Break glass. Shit. I mean, that's really what I want to do. But I'm like, I just need to buy glass to break glass. And then the Knave of Chalices. This is really where I was getting the drawing from. Writing, because it looks like something that he's actually expressing himself on. And this is really like the Knight of Cups. So just giving yourself that safe place to express yourself, that safe place to review, or not review, but look into yourself. Look into yourself through this art. So if you are dancing, right? Just because this is the one that kept strongly coming through. If you're dancing, maybe you can record yourself and then watch back that dance and be inspired by it. Be like, wow, that's really a part of myself that needed to heal through that movement. And I can see it through these kind of positionings of myself. Or if you're a writer, you can write a letter to your shadow self. You can write out your anger, your guilt. And I say anger because that's really the heaviest emotion I was feeling while pulling these cards. But it could be guilt, shame, jealousy, resentment, It could be some of those emotions as well. Fear. And just write a letter to those feelings, write a letter to your shadow self, express what it is that makes you feel those things. If there's a way to fix it, if you don't know how to fix it, because that's another beautiful thing is we can say, I don't know, I don't have the answers. And that's beautiful within itself. Just admitting and releasing that stress of having to know. You don't always need to know why you feel something. Sometimes it just is, you know. Granted, typically there is a reason, even if that means that it was somebody else's emotion projected onto you. That's okay, because then that means you don't have to carry it with you because it wasn't yours to begin with. But then you can look at that writing, that letter, whatever that is, and really feel through it and see in the tangible 3D realm an aspect of your shadow self. You can see in the 3D realm, if you paint something based off of these emotions, wow, I created that. Wow, that's really what those emotions brought out of me. And it's like when you see aspects of your shadow self in a 3D tangible light, it gives yourself a mirror. And you're literally holding up a mirror to yourself like, wow, that part within me is very powerful. And that isn't something I should be ashamed of. I should celebrate it in whatever way it needs to be celebrated. Obviously, don't go crazy beating people up in the streets and shit. I'm not condoning any violence or hexing or any of that shit. So do not say you got that from me, because that is not what I'm saying. PSA. But, giving it a voice that is conducive to your spirit, that is conducive to your soul. Because this is what this is about, is your shadow self and you. It's not about the other people that pissed you off in this reading, because they're going to get what they deserve any damn ways. This is about you at the end of the day. So, I did pull a crystal card, and we got Opal, Joy. And we just leave off with such a beautiful card. So, literally, this is the Three of Cups. This is the joy about watching your shadow self be expressed. This is the joy and happiness of allowing her to express herself, allowing her to get out her emotions. It's the weight lifted off your shoulders after you just cried in your pillow for an hour, and that lightheartedness you feel because now you just feel open to receiving. You poured out your cup onto your pillow or on your animal if they let you cry on them. And now you're just an open cup, ready to receive happiness, ready to receive that joy, and ready to pour that back into yourself. Because now you're not holding on to this resentment, this embarrassment, this guilt, this shame. Now it's gone. And it's not gone forever, because no emotion truly is. But now that big part that's been weighing heavy in your soul has had a voice, has been able to be released and let out. And now you can experience the joy of seeing it in the 3D tangible way, that tangible expression of your shadow self. And then it brings you joy because now you're connecting with another part of yourself. You're reconnecting that aspect of yourself. Your shadow self could look like your inner child. Maybe there was something from your childhood that keeps kind of being re-triggered, that needs to be revisited. This could be, your high school version of yourself, your junior high version of yourself. Your shadow self can be any aspect of yourself, to where it just needs a voice. And that's all it's asking for. And once you give it a voice and see what they have to say, it brings you joy because, wow, you're listening to you. You're listening to the deepest parts of your subconscious mind. And that is beautiful. Having that kind of relationship with yourself is beautiful. Because yes, we can have those relationships with our family, with our friends, with our siblings, with our significant other. But when you have that and you're actually listening to that deepest cry that you are crying out, that is just a whole nother level of just intertwining all these multi-dimensional facets of yourself. And that is where the joy and happiness comes in. So I wish the Divine Feminine a beautiful week of shadow work and of self-expression and of joy. So I will see you guys next week. Bye.